Welcome back. With the investigative detective still on the stand, defense attorney Robert Sanger insists that timing is everything. Here's what the jury heard according to the courtroom transcripts. And a programming note, an unindicted co-conspirator named Dieter is mentioned in this testimony.
Okay, so again, search November 18th. And sometime after that, sometime between November 18th and January 19th, you saw a portion of the rebuttal video, correct?
That is correct.
And one of the other officers said, "Look at this," and he was looking at it on his screen, and you came over and looked at it?
Yeah, it was a DVD or video.
Okay. And then the first time you watched the full tape was January 19th, is that correct?
That's correct.
When you first... Who was it that showed you this tape, by the way?
Detective Bonner.
Okay, so when Detective Bonner showed you this tape, he called you over and said, "Look at this," right?
Yeah.
And when you first saw it, it was rather remarkable, wasn't it?
Remarkable in what way?
I'm asking you. Let me ask you this, then. It did not appear to you at that time to be consistent with what you had been hearing from this family up until the time you saw it?
When I saw bits and pieces of what he showed me on that day, I was not alarmed by that because of... I recalled what Janet had told me in her initial interview about them being forced to do that by Dieter. So it was not alarming to me at all regarding what I was seeing or the way she was acting, if that's what you're asking.
So forced to say things like, "Call Michael Jackson daddy" and "father figure" and all that?
Exactly.
Okay, and you weren't... You sat here now, you've seen the cards where that's what this family does. They call people father and mother, and they tell them they love them, and they do all that, right?
According to the cards, yes.
You weren't aware of that at the time, were you?
No, I wasn't.
And now the defense tries to establish a pattern of behavior for the family of the accuser, and this judge says, "I'm no Lance Ito," reminding everybody exactly who's in charge.
When did you first learn that this family would send very effusive cards and letters to people calling them mommy or daddy and telling them they're part of their family and that sort of thing?
I'm going to object to the question, as this family is vague. If he has specific people he wants to refer to, I think he should do that.
I'm referring to Janet, Starr, Gavin, and Davelin, whose names already show up on the cards and evidence in this case with regard to Palanker and Michael Jackson.
Just a moment. I don't know how this has deteriorated where both of you are talking freely to the jury about your questions. So let's go back to the...
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Let's go back to the specific objections and not respond to them. The objection is overruled. You may answer now.
Upon reviewing, after the search warrant, some of the items that were seized, when I was going through some of those items, I ran across some of the cards and so forth that you have displayed here in court.
Testimony continues. Tempers flare as the defense implies we're dealing with a persecution instead of a prosecution.
So, November 18th, you and your department formed the opinion that you had probable cause, you should go out and arrest Mr. Michael Jackson in this case based on what you had then, right?
That is correct.
And then you investigated the case after you got the arrest warrant.
That's incorrect.
You didn't investigate the case after you got the arrest warrant?
We investigated the case prior to the search warrant. We continued to investigate the case, and we are currently continuing to investigate the case as this trial is going on. This is a continuing investigation.
So, a part of the continuing investigation you're just talking about, for instance, is an attempt to discredit witnesses who have come forward to say that the are not telling the truth. Is that correct?
Your Honor, I'm going to object to this as beyond the scope.
I'm not going to sustain the objection. Go ahead.
To discredit, no. It's when we receive reports from you as the defense that we have accusations or things in your reports. We're going to go and see if we can interview them to clarify and to make sure that that is correct. And we're also having other people coming forward besides your witnesses that you've talked to that we're following up leads regarding the case.